Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original presented by Perplexity. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us. Check out the GOAT, G.O.T.E, greatest of their era. Get that on iHeart Podcast. This is my man, Travonne Edwards, also with Seth Curry. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? It's been a minute. What's going on, dog?
Hey, man, I had to go over there to Indochina for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what that was hitting on.
Yeah, man. I didn't want to bother you, man. I gave you your idle time. I said, man, I'll see my boy when he get back.
Oh, yeah, I was long gone, man. I told people, I don't know the last time or if ever I was as long gone as I was on that trip. Like doing Hawaii, I can get long gone. There is something to be said about being 11 or 12 hours difference. Like you're still here for some people, you still might have a couple people, but when it's a complete different time of day, where you at, like totally different, man, you can just kind of,
I mean, but I've now that I've like known you for some time, at this point, idle time is just the best. Like it'd be like, all right, cool. It's a no phone zone with Bo. You feel me?
Yeah, man, dude. I'm trying so hard to snap this phone thing, man. I've been talking to people about this. I went to the hypnotist about the phone. I've been off my rocker. I did a good job. Like that first week when the hypnosis was really hitting hard, I read like 3 books that week. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even with Vietnam, I read 3 books and one of them was 700 pages. You know what I'm saying? Dang. Like, yeah. Like I was out there getting it, man. But I'm just finding myself kind of going up and down through the motions again. Got a Twitter window open and they got us, man. We fiends. Like, and I feel confident saying it's we because I know how everybody else is getting down.
Oh, I know. Listen, as somebody who's worked in social, and I try to separate the two, right? Where I don't work in social anymore, but I used to be on it. Like I've seen Sham's like screen time. Mine was grossly close to it because I needed to know everything. And now I don't need to know everything. I'm still connected to that tissue of you're going to have to figure it out eventually. You know what I'm saying? And it's that fear of missing out. But I'm getting to that point of like I said, when we hang out, I normally, I need this gap of time to not hit me up at all. I'm going to turn my phone off or I'm going to put it in my back pocket. And when I leave your house, I'm going to probably turn it back on.
Yeah, see, you live with the constant flow. Like, I've gotten into my jazz era of life. You know what I'm saying? Travonne's in his jazz era. And he was like, yo, I got this jazz group chat if you want to check it out. And I said, cool. And I'm going to be honest, man, I had to cut that shit off because it was nonstop. I couldn't get nothing from it.
Yeah.
Because it was so much. So I read this book that made a very good point about the technology. And it was that the advantage of digital communication over the written word was the speed of transmission. And along with the speed of transmission, the volume of transmission. So you can send more stuff and faster. And we are so far past the point of optimality on that is all like, we're just out here sitting like this all the time. Right? Like we just right there in the wind machine is just hitting us in the chest, right? We are under not a waterfall, we're under Niagara Falls.
Nah, it's real, man. It's not even, I mean, you can say that about music, you can say that about television. It's so many options to a point that even if you did consume it, you didn't consume it with enough time to sit and actually process it. It is what's next.
Nah, man, the Birmingham PD is out here bull connoring us with the water hose of content or everything else. It's just, and it's hitting you in your chest and you out here and your arms flailing and everything else, right? Like you about to have the dimple in your chest just because of all this content that is bombarding us at one time. I saw some people got upset with my take last week about, it wasn't last week because I wasn't working last week. But I made the point, I think the NCAA tournament was better when it was just all running through CBS. And the idea that, I can watch all the games is cool if there's a game specifically that you want to watch, right? But otherwise, it's just all this stuff and it's there. And most of those games aren't good. And people couldn't fathom the idea that having access to something is by definition better than not having the access to it. And that might be the case for each individual observation in the sample. But once you put them all together, it's too much. And so it's a real kind of technocratic outlook that you believe the idea that we have this technology, therefore we have to use it. That anything that is not going to the end game of what is possible with the technology is by definition silly. And I'm like, nah, man, I was here. We were here for the other time. Such a little young ass up, motherfucker. Listen, we were here. And I'm telling you, it was a better bag when we didn't have all this stuff.
The McDonald's All-American Games was going on, and I had some downtime, and they were like, yo, let's watch some games. And I said, yo, y'all got True TV. And everybody turned and looked at me like, what is that? What is that? Yeah, the game is going to be on True TV. And then there's another game on ESPN. And there's another game on TNT. And there's another game on CBS. And you're looking and you're like, oh, I can't track. To the point of who's playing where out of a popularity and greed of money to ration this around and say, hey, you know what? Instead of serving to one channel, we're going to take money from everybody and give you streaming rights to this. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Like at this point, I am fine with not being the first at something. I've accepted that part of my life where I'm like, yeah, that's a cool TV show. I'll get to it. Yeah. I'm not about to stress myself out because you guys are on episode 11 and I'm just now hearing about it and I'm on episode 1. And I'm not about to just binge my whole day to watch it.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you something that's ironic, though. When I'm doing my best on getting the screens off, because my bigger problem with the screens is the computer, because I do so much work on the computer. Like me and my brother were talking about this. This is both our issue, that the phone, we can kind of regulate that. And then because communication has gone to text, again, they just keep giving you reasons to go hit the pipe again, right? Like imagine if everything that you did in your life was filtered through a crack pipe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yo, it's time to eat. Let me order some food right fast with the pipe. Right? Like, right. Every time I needed to do something, oh man, my mama just sent me a message. Let me hit the pipe right quick so I can hear what it is. Like that's where we sent it all in that direction, and they figured out how to make it a pipe. It's like an all bad news sort of situation when it comes down to it. Like it truly is. But it's like trying to figure out, like me and the hypnotist talked about this. It's trying to regulate eating. You don't want to stop eating, but you only want to go eat when you're hungry. Only want to go eat when you need to eat something, or even if it's because I like eating something. It can't be because you're bored. It can't just be because
that's
food's
an
in front of
American
you.
problem, right? Because you go to other countries and people know how to stop. Yes. Or people serve you portions that are proportioned to actually what your body's supposed to handle.
Yes.
Versus America, we use the words more, bigger. Yes. You know what I mean? We're using these adjectives to sell to make you even more hungry. If you said, yo, Trey, let's get something to eat. I know I just ate an hour ago, but I'm still going to try to eat with you.
Yep. Well, two things. One, by the way, I find they're on their phones less.
Yeah.
When you're over there, like in Europe in particular, I noticed they're not really on their phones like that. And two, even I, now that I'm not as skinny as I was, I lose weight when I go overseas, right? They serve you healthier food. They serving it in smaller portions. Because what I didn't know about Indochina, or like where I was in Indochina, I don't even think I've talked to you about this part. Bruh, they got like them Hawaii level fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Like
the
that,
best
like
mangoes.
Man, that watermelon, something different over there. That dragon fruit, brother, they got something called orange nectar.
Okay.
Not orange juice. Orange nectar. And I don't know if it was a typo at my hotel, but they called it orange nectar. Necta. But that orange nectar was like, yo, this is what's going on. But all the fruits and all the vegetables is all hitting. But anyway, I ordered some suits when I was over there because that's what they do. Right. And I'm afraid because I ordered them at the end of the trip, which means I hope I don't become just enough of a different physical specimen now that I have returned to the fat ass United States to wear my wonderful bespoke suit and tuxedo no longer fit the same way.
Well, maybe easier said than done. You do the adaptation of like, what did I consume? And also, can I genuinely hold myself accountable to these portions? Again, because it's things that you like, right?
Well, so I think I can do that. But let us stop and appreciate how insane it is that I, of all people, have to say, I don't know, brother, you're going to need a little portion control to stay where you're at to get, like that's how foul we living over here.
Yeah. But it also gets to a point where now you're in the, like, not the body dysmorphia thing, but like you're kind of in a thing of like, you fixated to like, nah, I don't want to get, I don't want to gain because of this. And like, it's like, yo, somebody else from a normal hood is like, yo, that's just food, bro, eat.
Right.
And it's like, you don't understand what we're putting in our bodies, what we're consuming every day, the easy snacks that you can grab.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And consume and say, it's just that.
Yep.
I'm trying to be 500 grams of sugar.
Yo, and all of that is a metaphor for our online existences.
Yeah.
Everything that we're talking about there really is a metaphor for all of these things and like all of this stuff that we wind up consuming, right? And we take in, and then everything kind of becomes less memorable in a way. Like I say, I mean, I've been reading a lot of doom and gloom, bro. In order to put a little extra pep in my step on vacation, I instead chose to read books about hijackings of planes. Got to tell you, the hijacking stuff was fascinating.
Really? Okay.
First of all, you hear about how they used to hijack planes back in the day. Mm-hmm. There was one year where there was 160 hijackings. Like, a hijacking stopped being an emergency at one point, and they just had a very simple manual for what to do because they made the wise decision that you should always make when somebody robs you, which is come up off it. Right? Yeah. No need to fight. No need to argue. Just come up off it. And
what was the succession rate of like the hijacking and the plane actually landing or not? Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The plan for the airlines was just to come up off it.
Yeah.
So the success rate was actually very high until a few people kind of got tired of it.
Okay.
And so
don't motion picture my shit while I'm on the plane. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that now.
Well, so you got to keep in mind that this is the 1970s. Okay. So in the late 60s. So a big part of the story of hijacking is that it wasn't stopping people from flying and it wasn't costing the airlines money. So they would not put in their share to bring in X-rays and metal detectors. They weren't doing it. They were just like, who cares? These people ask for X amount of dollars, so they'll give the plane back. It's cheaper for us to just give them the money than it is for us to put in security protocols. Like, security protocols came much later, and the reason was it was easier for them to just let you take the plane and go off on an adventure than it was for them to pay the money. But at some point, there's somebody out here who
so they was being cheap on Wesley Snipes. They didn't want no passenger 57.
That's right. So, but so eventually it gets to a point where somebody's like, yo, man, they out here playing us. We ain't got to do this. So this one pilot had decided that he himself had enough. And this little 5'5", I want to say he was a Vietnamese dude. I know he was Asian. And he tried to hijack a plane and he sent the note and everything else. And like, clearly he was just a distraught dude, because most of these people were like that, like people with their own problems. Mm-hmm. And so the pilot knew an off-duty cop who was on the plane. Keeping in mind, there ain't no metal detectors. And so the pilot comes back to talk to the little 5'5" dude. He's like, come closer. And then next thing you know, he holds the dude up. He lays him out on the ground. He looks at his buddy, the off-duty cop, and says, do it. And the off-duty cop came up and clapped him with a .357 Magnum on the plane.
I'm still trying to process it. Like, yo,
you didn't see that coming, huh?
I did not.
Yo,
the streets need a body.
It was a lot of streets need a body. Although I will say, I don't know if it was a one-to-one relationship on how this happened, but it did sound like after that dude got clapped that hijackings did decrease. I think there were a few other factors that also came into play. But
honestly, I think if there was a fatal ending, right, to a lot of things that people do, it would lessen.
It would. Well, the problem with this is it would lessen, but the issue with the hijackers was, and I think that this is a parallel to a lot of what we see going on now, was people who were struggling to find anything to believe in and find anything to live for.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were taking these drastic steps, whether it be a drastic step to get attention or to bring attention to something that they thought was important or anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I had. But these are the stories that I was reading to get me a little more excited, because all these books I've been reading about the internet just got me ready to go Amish. I'm about to be at this
you sent
motherfucker with a
over some
pitchfork.
good books, man, and I've really been checking them out, man. But again, I just know how society is set up. It's not allowing me to
that's the thing. That's fiend talk. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just talking about for work. Like
I hear you, but I'm just saying, I think that we can find a way to navigate and to get like to a better middle ground or whatever it is. But see, that's what they like I said, you say work. Imagine if the only way that you could get to work was to hit the pipe.
Yeah, but I think that they're creating that now.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's the same way as how do I consume sports without gambling? You know what I mean? Like, it's getting to a part where you have to even include that. My homie sent me over his resume, Bo, and you know what had to be included on there? Social media handles.
Wow.
We've gotten to that point.
Wow.
We've gotten to that point.
By the way, you make a great point throwing the gambling thing out there, because the issue that makes the gambling thing different than it has been in the past is now we are sending gambling through the pipe, which is to say we are taking one of the strongest rocks there's ever been. And somebody has finally said, have you thought about putting it not just in a pipe, but put it in the pipe, this new pipe. This pipe that you ain't even got to put a rock in it and make it hit. Mm-hmm. Now you gonna put a rock in there?
Nah, this is the in the movies, that shiny drug that's in the crystal. You haven't tried this. You tried everything, but this is the one.
Yes.
Right? And they take a hit and somebody just like falls out and shakes, and then they get up and they're like, I need some of that again. And they tell everybody like,
I need that hit.
I need that, yo. You know, those are those you sign up, you get $50 your first login.
No, that's exactly it. We get let's stop and think about. So the thing I say about gambling in the casino, right? They know the longer you stay, they're going to get their money back, right? Like the law of large numbers basically is on their side. All of that's going to come together. And the longer you stay, you'll just go ahead and do it. So I think with blackjack, for example, the percentage is 52%. They're going to win 52% of the hands. And if you have a good day at blackjack, it's just because you hit on a statistical anomaly. You got it going. Okay, cool, right? Like this is how it works. The thing that you need to know about blackjack and all those other games is you are playing for money. And if you ask the dealer for advice, the dealer will give you good advice. The dealer will give you the best advice. The game is so stacked in their favor that they can tell you what you should be doing. Mm-hmm. And just play along to a set of rules. And you still gonna lose.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how cold the money is in the gambling game. I ain't never heard of no situation where a sports book closed because they just kept losing.
Yeah. No, I always watch people that gamble, that really, really gamble. Like I used to shoot dice as a teen. And I knew there was some extremities to that. But when you get to the point, you go to Vegas, you're betting. Like I've seen people hit the crap. One big. Yo, you won 13K. Yo, you won 22K. They get halfway out. They cash out. They say, I'm feeling good tonight, man. There's no way I can lose. Bro, you're almost out the door. That itch.
Yeah, like to me, when I mess up, when I'm up and then go back down, is I start playing around with the amounts.
That's it. You got to have the magic number. What number did you start at?
Yeah, you got to stay there. You got to stay there. Like that's where I think the most I've won playing blackjack, I won about $10,000 at Summer League one time. Like I just hit a nice run and I kept it going. But like it's to go up and then come back down. Or look, sometimes you just make the decision. Like I was playing blackjack in Vegas at the Super Bowl last year with a former NFL player, right? I feel confident his money is good. I watched him go up. I forget how much, but it was a pretty good amount. and he was running late. He had somewhere to be.
Lucky him.
And he was late because he sat there and gave every chip back. Because he came to play cards.
He didn't stay committed to the obligation. He got greedy.
He came to play cards. But like, if I get up $13,000, look, I'm getting
out.
up. I'm getting up. Like, I might play some more, but I'm not getting anywhere near losing $13,000.
No. I will say I'm pretty good with morally cashing out. I'm just no need. If it was a magic, if I ever react, that's my like my itch. If it's always, and I do that because I know I don't have no business having that. It's time to go. I seen the number where I'm like, I actually got excited about it. It's time to go. If I got excited about any number, it's time to go.
Nah, see, yeah. It's that's real talk. That's real. You
gotta know yourself, because it's no way you're going to hit twice.
Let me tell you what you need to do. If you get $13,000, and this is gonna sound crazy, but it's the truth. Go get your ass up and buy something. I'm a big fan of them having all them stores right outside the casino for you to hit for that lick and then give it back. You should spend that money on some bullshit. Like, if your plan was to go hit at Vegas so you could pay off the rent, oh, baby, you lost already. No. Go ahead and put it on something
That's
trivial.
that fiend stuff right there.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? When you go in saying, I'm going to go in, and it be in a lot of TV shows. I don't know if they created that to help the gambling companies, but most people, it's fixated to a point of, you know what? This is our last 100. We're going to go in. Trust me, I'm good for it.
Yes.
And I'm going to change your life.
I just got a feeling.
I got a feeling. That's TV magic, brother. That is TV magic. You are going to lose it all. Do not. I always tell people, I say, look, I used to, when I was doing the ad reads for the gambling companies, I say, hey, bro, small amounts. You got $5 here? Cool.
Yeah.
When you start playing into your check, the 15th and the 30th, and it rolled out, and you got your little 2,500 or your 3,500 from your hard-earned money, don't go in there gambling no 200. That's what that cryptocurrency stuff. I used to be looking. I'm like, bro, this is life savings. What's it? You're not going to become a millionaire just because over some digital ape. I'm sorry.
Fortune favors the brave. But hey, coming up next, we're going to talk about this last swing of the NBA season. I had planned to start talking there, but you know what I'm saying? The world got bigger. We'll be back. This episode is presented by Perplexity. Perplexity is an AI-powered answer engine that searches the internet in real time to deliver fast, clear, high-quality answers. Unlike legacy search engines that respond with a list of links, Perplexity skips straight to the answers you need, explained in everyday language that's easy to understand with sources and citations. Now, Sean, how do you use Perplexity, especially when it comes to the right time?
Bo, obviously, I've been using it all throughout the show, especially when you need questions answered or stats confirmed. But, say you're curious about a specific topic from our If You Haven't Heard segment. For example, if I wanted to know more about this corporate espionage happening with a company called Rippling, I can simply search the question on Perplexity and get a full summary of the entire situation, which you can see here. And I would recommend you reading it because it is insane.
Hey, man, you got to love reading about honeypots and corporate espionage, and incredible that we got that answer so quickly. Discover faster, more reliable search with Perplexity today. Download the app or ask Perplexity anything at perplexity.com. You ready to win real money this March Mania, attorney? Struggling to choose which team will pull off an upset? Forget about the teams. All you need to focus on are player stats to rack up big cash prizes with DraftKings Pick 6. When it comes to massive payouts, DraftKings dunks all over the competition.
Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. Track your picks for a shot to win huge cash prizes. It's as simple as that. It's super easy. All you need to do is pick 6 players and decide whether their points, rebounds, or assists will be more or less. Turn your March Mania knowledge into cash today. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly with just a $5 entry.
Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code BOMANI. That's code BOMANI for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Help is available for problem gambling. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as a non-withdrawable pick six credit that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer.
Sean, you know I stopped drinking, but apparently there's a great product for people who want to have a better tomorrow after a night out.
Yeah, I got to tell you about this game-changing product, Bo. I use it before a night out with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. Let's face it, after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I have to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. And this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow.
Now, that seems too good to be true, man.
You know, I was on the fence about it also, but every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice the difference immediately the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on bouncing back the next day to tackle whatever the day has in store for me.
This March Madness, don't let anything sideline your celebrations. Grab pre-alcohol before you go out and be ready to cheer on your team all day and night long. Go to zbiotics.com/Bomani to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Bomani at checkout. ZBiotics is back with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Bomani and use the code Bomani at checkout for 15% off. All right, we're back on with Travonne Edwards. All right, we are in the midst of the last week of the NBA season. Like I said, I told you, I did a good job of not paying no attention to what was going on. I came back into Grizzle on the 8 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I guess it's a logjam 8 seed situation, but still, I feel like they were it's been a while since they were the 2 seed, but it wasn't that long ago.
No, I mean, the thing was, as close as you want to poke your chest out and say, yeah, we're number 2, or yeah, we're number, because one been locked. One been locked for a very long time. But when you think about all of what the West has been through, I feel like a fair amount of teams touch number 2. The Lakers got a chance to sniff it. The Rockets, the Nuggets, you know what I mean? Like, certain teams was poking their chests out as if they were going to remain there. The race was so close that you sneeze wrong, you lose one player, you know what I mean? You're going to drop. And now we're at game 79. You know, those matchups and those wins and those vital things matter. They matter now because you have to have everybody on board. You know what I mean? You can't even get bored and say, you know what? I'm going to bench my guys, because that's how intense the West is right now.
So the 2 right now is the Rockets, and they are locked. Like, I don't think there's any chance that anybody catches them for the 2. This is what I find interesting about the Rockets. It is good to have a coach who is interesting, right? Like, I think the thing that's missing in basketball, all these suckers need to quit wearing these pullovers and go get them some suits so they can look like people rather than all looking the same, right? Because the coaches just kind of feel interchangeable and kind of boring, right? That is not the case with Ime. And what I like about Ime as coach is Ime's team's going to have a personality, because Ime got that personality, right?
Oh, yeah. You can't play for Ime, and he might bench you if you're a star or not.
But this is what was interesting to me, though, about Ime and the way he gets down. His get down allowed the Celtics to stop acting like some suckers, right? Mm-hmm. But they never felt, even now as champions, as like a swaggering, you don't want no problems with us kind of outfit. The Rockets, where it's a lot of younger guys, right? Like, they finally made the decision, you know, however many years after the Harden trade of, okay, now we're going to start trying to win. And they feel like an Ime squad. Like, the way Amen gets down is like, you got a coach that has said you that dude, and we going to go out here and we going to act like these. Like, this is the coach that talk crazy to LeBron James in the middle of games. And he got a squad like that.
Yeah. I mean, even when they were building it out, I remember like the year or 2 when they acquired Ime and they got him. And I know Brooklyn was flirting with him a little bit until they, you know, tried to peep into his personal biz. But overall, I knew what type of, moves he was making. He's taking the gamble on the Dylan Brooks. He's signing the Fred VanVleet. He's benching the Jalen Green in the fourth quarters because he's not defending. You know what I mean? Like, he's drafting a Reed Shepherd, but Reed Shepherd's not playing, and everybody's calling him a madman because, Reed Shepherd is the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, nah, if you don't defend, you don't play. If you ain't tough, you don't play. Like, it is what it is. I got a certain type of player that I want out there, and he says, you know what? We not adjusting to the ref is adjusting to us. So if we gonna get physical, we gonna get tossed out of some games. We gonna get them early 3 fouls in the first half, but we establishing the flow of the game. And when you play us, it's gonna be very tough. And that's the embodiment of it. You know what I mean? Like, they lucked up getting him just because, again, like you said, he's not afraid of the LeBrons. He's not afraid of the Steph Currys. He's not afraid of most of these people that usually pump fear. And the coach is like, no. Don't get them started. They want all the smoke. This is one of them teams that literally want all the smoke. I don't know what they're going to actually do in the playoffs, but from the regular season to turn Houston Rockets, their too young team, into the number 2 team in the West as a lock. Come on, Ime.
Yo, so the too young part is interesting because Oklahoma City is in year 2 of are you grown enough? And that is still in the air, right?
Yeah.
Like, we still don't have the answer of whether or not they're grown enough. The Rockets raised the question of whether or not they're grown enough, but the Rockets do have, like, Dylan Brooks is so grown, but Fred VanVleet is an NBA
Won
champ.
a chip.
Right? Like, that's a grown up that they have, but he's Fred VanVleet. Like, how much we really talking about here? Like, maybe he has a Mario Ellie type of influence where he could be that guy, but, like, it remains to be seen. But then you look at the rest of the conference, everybody's got a bright side. Everybody's got obvious reason for skepticism. The most interesting team in the West to me, that boy Kawhi is back. And the only thing that's ever stopped that man truly is being hurt, although I guess he was there when they blew that 3-1 lead to Denver in the bubble. But healthy Kawhi, look, man, if Kawhi Leonard has stayed healthy the whole way through, Kawhi Leonard is a top 20 all-time NBA player. I think
By the way, they got the best defense in the NBA right now.
They have, maybe, of all the teams in the West, they got the coach you want.
I will say this, too. Huge credit to Ty Lue. Huge credit to getting out all the cancer players. Right? Those players that didn't want to be there, the players that, took to social media and said, I should be playing and this, that, and the third. James Harden redefining what y'all thought about him. You know what I'm saying? Jim out there, swag is different. The sneakers matching the car, the Uno, an all-star. People wrote Jim off. They wrote him off.
He's such a fascinating case because as we've tried to write him off, he has become underrated. And what
as crazy as that sounds,
right? But he had, and what I don't think he gets enough credit for is his game is far more adaptable than we give it credit for being. Now, it is also static in some ways, right? Like, push come to shove, he's still gonna be out there cooking at the top of the key. But at the same time, he is willing to step up and step back as necessary for a team, and has always been willing to do that. Well, no, always is too far. But he has been willing at points.
I'll say when he got moved to Brooklyn was the start of this, right? It didn't get enough credit because everybody was kind of up in arms because, they're cheating. They got 3 players playing together. And it kind of overshadowed that. He even did glimpses of it in Philly. But when he got to LA and people was questioning, I don't know, he might be out the league. This style ain't gonna never work. He shows up. Kawhi's out, pulled out of the Olympics, training camp, missed the first beginning of the season. They had to redefine. You got Jim Harden out there playing defense. You got Norman Powell potentially peaking at All-Star. You got Zubac potentially most improved. Like, they go get Bojan Bogdanovic. They make the competent moves to make this team be a threat. They're one of the scariest teams in the West. And I know Lakers fans, it's just the Clippers, little brother. Y'all better pay attention. I like Luka and Bron. But from a complete side, a 7-game series, things of that nature, I'm not even taking that win against the Thunder as like, oh my God, I told y'all. You know what I mean? Thunder needed to go through that. They needed that more than anything, because if they would have rolled through the Lakers, then get the Lakers, I don't know. I don't know how it is.
Yeah, like the Lakers, I did not get to see them for 2 weeks. It sounds like it sounds like the defense came back down to earth a little bit. And then I look up on Sunday and they just blew Oklahoma City's doors off.
They don't shoot like that. They had like a miracle shooting night. Like
that's what I'm looking up, and it's like 125 to 96. That sounds like shooting splits.
Yeah, no, they just shot. They shot over 70% in the first half. Like 75 something points in the first half. Like, all right, bro. Shout outs to y'all. I'm happy. But it was like, yo, Vando and the defense, and it's like, Oklahoma's not showing up like that. They're not showing up like that every night. Y'all not punking them. Bad night. That's it. I give it. Great win for the Lakers. I'm not going to take that away from them. Great statement win to make them feel confident going into any series. But at the end of the day, 7 games, I still like the Lakers veteran. Again, like you mentioned earlier in the conversation, is that are the Thunder ready to be men?
Right.
And not looked at as little boys, because everybody's had a great season where they won 50-something games and they're 1 seed and then got bounced. But can you see the Rockets? Can you see the Clippers? Can you see the Lakers? The only team that's red panic button right now and everything's kind of falling apart is the Nuggets. Jamal Murray's getting hurt at the wrong time. Russell Westbrook is avoiding questions. Jokic is still being Jokic, but it ain't looking too great over there.
We're reaching the point now where we got to, keeping in mind that Nikola Jokic has never played with another player who was an all-star the same year as him. This is starting to look like malpractice, because he is that guy.
Yes.
All right, like that.
I said Wilt like.
Yeah, like nobody can deny it anymore. It's a different kind of Wilt game, but like there's no room to hate anymore in what Denver seems to be doing. Look, I thought if they had stayed healthy last year, I still think they could have won a championship, but they feel now so far removed from where they were 2 years ago. Like losing Bruce Brown, for example, like that was a thing, right? Like those things mattered, but they don't feel like champions anymore. Or maybe that's just kind of this new era, right? Where like, what is we are a champion? How much does that matter anymore when there's on one level, you would think because of how much parity there is that should be an incredible tiebreaker, but it doesn't feel like it. Like the Nuggets don't give we are champion vibes, and that's kind of nuts.
If they didn't win, we're talking crazy about them.
Yes.
I think the win made it complacency. It's, hey, we got the monkey off our back, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. We just needed one. We're okay. We'll go back. We just make the playoffs a couple times. We got one of the greatest players, best player in the league. Because now they got to flirt with the option. Cool, they get bounced. Where does Michael Porter Jr. go? Where does this person go? Do we even make a certain change? Because like it's getting to that point where it's just not enough anymore. The Aaron Gordons of the world, the Jamal Murrays, where do I have to pair somebody better with Jokic? Jokic's not going nowhere, but he also not about to throw a fit publicly.
No. Jamal Murray is who Jamal Murray is in our eyes for one reason.
Yeah.
He plays with that guy.
Yeah.
Feel free to turn on the 2024 Olympics if you don't quite understand what I'm saying. Jamal Murray is really good playing with Nikola Jokic. It wouldn't be anything like this without him.
That is true.
Period. Now, we had brought up the Lakers a little bit earlier. I went and pulled up like the Luka Doncic advanced stats because I find them interesting, especially because he holds the ball so much, which is an interesting skew very often. The advanced stats on him this year are not so great. And quietly, the advanced stats for him in his entire playoff career are not that great. But that's not the point, is it? Right? What is the point with him is the boy don't scare. He might fall apart, right? Because that can happen. He can get caught up in a bunch of stuff, and that's what happened toward, the end there in the finals last year. But the boy don't scare. And they're going to be out there with him and LeBron James, two dudes that are like, I got that shot, right? If this gets tight and somebody's got to do it, because I think something that is underrated about the NBA, and you spend a lot of time around basketball generally, but the NBA specifically is, I think people underestimate the number of dudes that don't want the shot. There are a lot more dudes that don't want the shot than I think that people understand. They got two dudes who want the shot, have made the shot repeatedly, and are willing to give the shot to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's a deadly combination to have, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a luxury. But also when you really think about Luka's definitely taking that shot. I don't care what Bron's out there doing. No matter, yeah, we love Bron, year 22, legend, GOAT, whatever you want to call that man, but Luka taking that shot.
Right.
And he okay with it. I think if he misses it, it's a little grown in. It's I could have made it. But he ain't gonna take it for himself. You know what I mean? He gonna get some of them tip ins.
Yes.
He gonna get some of them close by the rims, making the right decisions. But them jump shots, Luka gonna and walk it off. But he gonna shoot it. That man fearless. He gonna shoot it. He'll live with the results of it going in or out. And I can't say that for the next man because at the end of the day, it's too much on it. Bron miss it, it's too much on it. It's way too much on it. It's too Mike comparison. Instead of fans allowing him to just miss and be human.
Right.
We're so far removed from that part that he rather drive and rely on the ref to blow the whistle and say, officiation was bad today.
Yeah. But I do think an interesting thing about LeBron is I think, strangely for a player of his caliber, the most underrated thing about him is his ability to hit those shots in those moments. Like, to me, the most overrated thing about Kobe Bryant was his ability to make those shots in those moments. The heroism of Kobe is the willingness to take them. And the part that LeBron struggles to shake is that little stretch of time where he didn't want to take those shots.
Yeah.
And we can't shake that. We don't have any such memory of Kobe Bryant.
Well, the logic of it too is making the right play. He's marketed IQ. I'm the smartest player out here, and I'm going to make you look at it this way more than why do I always have to shoot the shot low percentage or high percentage? Because I'm the best player.
But like, to me, it was the right play when you get it to Damon Jones in the corner against the Wizards, right? And that, for example, that was the right move. It really was that 2010, 2011 part of the regular season, 2012, that he had to shake off, where it was like, oh no, he does not want these problems. Like, this is so in individual sports, it's interesting. We treat choking completely differently. It happens to everybody. We've seen every great tennis player, we've seen choke, right? We've seen Serena Williams choke, for example. We've seen Nadal choke. We've seen Federer choke. We can go up and down the line. We've seen them all choke. Golfers, we've seen them all choke because there's nowhere else for it to go. There's nowhere else to push it off on. You're the only one that's out here. We've seen them short on them putts, all of those things. When people choke in basketball, and the way we talk about it is much more of a character indictment. And look, there's some people who are chokers. There's some people who are chokers that we don't talk about like that. But like Tim Duncan.
No, there's a lot of protected chokers, man.
Yeah, Tim Duncan, a lot of choke in him. Kevin Garnett, a lot of choke in him. We can go, I mean, some of those guys have hit big shots. Some of those guys
you're gonna have some people up here with the pitchforks, man. Saying they favorites. But it's true. It's true. Yeah. Basketball is one of those spaces where it kind of gets swept under the rug depending on popularity.
Yeah. Well, like, so take Garnett, for example, man. The whole thing with Kevin Garnett is being charged up all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Right? Like being super sized up. Of course that dude might get a little bit too sized up for them shots, but you put him on a team with Paul Pierce and it's perfect because Kevin Garnett
can defer.
Kevin Garnett can lead the team and be the great player that he was in that context. And then Pierce can do that. And by the way, Pierce, who's probably not so great at that Kevin Garnett stuff. Okay, cool. And then you got Ray Allen to take shots. Like, that's why that team came together so well. But with Bron, you're right. The world puts it in those larger contexts. I don't know if he still does that though, right? Like, you could tell when the weight of that was on him. You think it still comes through now?
I don't think he's really tripping off of it because, again, he's marketed the game to a point of, I made the best play. So you don't even get a chance to even bring it to the table to say what's a good shot and what's a bad shot. He made the best play. Now the weight goes more to a Gabe Vincent, a
Right.
Austin Reeves, a Luka Doncic, who's catching the ball, and it was like, you were supposed to make that.
Right.
It's no more the conversation of, Bron, shoot that. You're never going to, you can check the end of games. Their timeline never says that. It's trade that bum, get him out of here. Why was he on the floor? You're wide open, not understanding how heavy that ball gets in that particular moment.
How far that basket is. A 15-footer is an 18-footer once you start getting to the real game.
Mm-hmm. You feel all the pressure because it's intense. The court shrinks, the actual floor shaking. There's a silence, a dead silence for that split second that it's releasing your hand. Like we can talk about the national championship game last night, right? With Sharp. 2 moments he went. The first moment, drive to the basket, 1-on-3. Now, obviously, he probably thought he had a one-on-one matchup before it closed up. The second one, Clayton flying out at him. He thought he was on the blacktop again. He tried to do it up and down. He let the ball go and then tried to seal. It just went blank. And the magnitude of that. We don't talk about how good he was for that entire tournament. We're going to talk about those 2 moments.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but that is, like you mentioned, basketball and how we handle choking.
Yep.
It is such a magnitude to a point where, again, it's 5 people playing a game, but if you mess up, Cooper Flag, missed jumper, you choked. He shouldn't be number 1 pick. It's held to your last shot. Were you the hero or are you a loser for the rest of it? You're hero or loser. That's it.
That's it.
That's the weight.
That's it. I want to switch gears right fast before we get out of here. Why does Ja Morant not understand that, son, you can't play around like you're playing with guns? Like, you cannot do this.
Remember Mr. Untouchable, Nicky Barnes?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ja Morant. You just got to find out sometimes. You play in the face of whoever it is. And right now, although injuries, suspensions, over the tiniest things, which all points back to him. No one else. Accountability to self. But he's paid. The check clears every 1st and 15th. He's the franchise player. He's seen all over. He's made game winners. But it gets old, especially when you're not winning at all.
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't gotten them past the second round of the playoffs.
Is it really worth the headache at this point?
Is it worth the headache? I would probably say no, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a very important part of this is so much of his game is unreal athleticism, right?
Oh, he's probably the most exciting player outside of Steph Curry to me.
Right.
NBA.
And so how long does that keep up? Okay. He's 25 years old now. And no, 25 is not that old.
Mm-hmm.
But take a guy like Gilbert Arenas, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It was over at 25.
3-year run.
Yeah. Like 25 is old enough to where the wrong injury happens, right? It's a meniscus thing or whatever, especially if you have a game that's so predicated on your athleticism, which was not really the case for Gil. It is the case for Ja Morant. Hey, man, there's no promise that there's 10 years on the other side of this. Like, if I'm Memphis and he's not listening, right? He doesn't seem to get what the stakes and what the magnitude is. Oh, we got to find somebody else to take him.
I mean, he even says, like, Chandler Parsons made a comment about maybe they need to trade him, right? Or he needs a new scenery. And he came back with a response, right? You know what I mean? And the writing's on the wall. Memphis loves you till they don't. Luka Doncic got traded, brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to agree with Nico or not, that should have been the eye-opener for any star. No matter what you've done for the community, no matter how many game-winning shots you've made, you are on a timetable. You are just one of many contracts that need to be paid. And they don't mind hitting a reset button again. They don't. They fired your coach.
Hold on. They fired your coach in March.
And you're fifth in West at the time.
Right. Your team is going to the playoffs, and they were still good chance to host a first-round series, and they traded you're next. As far as issues go, you're the next person they look at. Because they fire a coach like that, to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, not even necessarily because they think the coach is doing a bad job, but they think the coach can't fix what the problem is. And so they need to give it somebody else to try to fix what the problem is before they have to fix the problem.
Yeah. And that problem happens to be 12.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, despite, this is just, it's the flow of it, man. It's a players' league until, you know what I mean? But the player has to have some type of awareness. We can say this till our face is blue. Sure. Again, this is not even negative because it can be bite-sized and say, oh, you're hating on Ja, you just don't get it, da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, this young man is going to make a lot of money in this league. He's going to continue to do what he does. But you cannot have a I don't give a fuck attitude in the National Basketball Association as this player, especially when you haven't won a championship, especially when you haven't, winning wins fixes all. We know that. You could be the worst person till you're the best person. It don't matter. But in this case, I don't see them win the championship this year. And I don't know. The clock is ticking. And when we look at those European stars and we're starting to look at our American stars, and the only person that really want the face and begging for it is Jason Tatum, but we really relied hard on Zion and Ja, and they have yet to meet the standards of it. Ja was right there to take off.
Yep.
Unfortunately, lost to the Warriors, whatever, and he was supposed to be that next year. Got hurt, then the situation where he was suspended, then got hurt again, came back, got hurt. Now he's back to playing at a high level, and he's still one of the most exciting players. But, bro, when are you going to take this serious?
Brother, the most telling 2 words that you said in that whole thing were young man. You just turned 40 recently, and you understand where that goes. That Ja Morant is behaving in such ways that make you want to stop, but put your hand on his shoulder and address him as young man. Mm-hmm. Right? There's a care that comes when you tell somebody young man. Mm-hmm. But you need that is a tone and a phrase that is reserved for hitting somebody with some true game. Mm-hmm. Right? Like somebody needs to give you some true game right now, young man. If you continue going the way that you're going, right? That's another thing too. When you call somebody young man, what follows next is an if-then statement. Mm-hmm. If present tense, then future tense.
Yep.
If you keep going down this road where you're going, it's not going to go the way you want. And he out here yeah, all right, Pa, all right, Unc. I hear you, Unc. Whatever you say, right? Ja Morant, look, back in the day, Ja Morant was one bad move away from having to cut his hair. You know what I'm saying?
Remember that conversations where people were like, maybe he should cut his hair.
It was always the dreadlocks or the braids fault, right?
Hey,
it always was. Now, granted. Well, I can explain this part. If you're going to fucking court, then it is definitely in your best interest to come in that bad boy with an edge up like that was. But acting like you went to court and you ain't been to court yet, that was always going a little bit too far. My favorite, of course, speaking of the court thing, is when Michael Vick had to go to court, boy, he had them waves back in a heartbeat. Once it was clear that he was catching charges, he went from braids to waves that.
It's very telling, man. When you pop out with the waves or you pop out with that shortcut, as a former person who got their hair cut, I used to have hair, by the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you have to, and you are judged by your actions. Please get that haircut, clean up.
It used to always be the dreadlocks' fault, right? Now you can't even tell a boy like that to cut his hair.
Hey, is long hair the symbolism of the devil on the shoulder?
No, what it is, no.
Do the dreads talk to you?
No, what it is.
Do the finger gun.
Long hair is the symbolization that you don't care what don't nobody say. You think the rules don't apply to you. Mm-hmm. That's what long hair. That's what long hair says. You think the rules don't apply to you.
Dang.
And I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you that is what it is telling people. Oh, you think the rules don't apply to you?
Hey, man. I mean,
and by the way, he clearly thinks that they don't. Or what he misunderstands is everybody else is doing the play with guns thing. You not everybody else. Like, he don't understand the ways in which he is and is not like everybody else.
Yeah. You definitely not everybody else. If the NFL cutting out this,
yeah,
you need to stop, brother. You need to stop. Listen, because it's like one of them. You look at the other company and they say, "Hey, we going back to the office 5 days."
Yes,
y'all going back 5 days sooner or later. So if the NFL saying no, yeah, hey, it's about to be no taunts. It's gonna be no taunt league. Nothing. just score and just go put your hands in your pockets. So just give them pockets, NBA. Just let them put their hands in their pockets after they score.
Oh, man. That's my man, Travonne Edwards. Check out the GOAT podcast, greatest of their era, iHeart podcast. Travonne and Seth Curry, my brother, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. You know it's always love.
Yes, sir, man. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. Be sure to check out our ad-free version, $5 a month, $50 a year, available through Supercash. Check that out. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on The Right Time. My man, Sean Yu, handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. And we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.